Selma Lagerlöf. Selma Ottilia Lovisa Lagerlöf, born on the 20th of November 1858, died on the 16th of March 1940, was a Swedish author. She published her first novel, Gösta Berling's Saga, at the age of 33. She was the first woman to win the Nobel Prize in Literature, which she was awarded in 1909. Additionally, she was the first woman to be granted a membership in the Swedish Academy in 1914. A visit in 1900 to the American colony in Jerusalem became the inspiration for Lagerlöf's book by that name. The royal family and the Swedish Academy gave her substantial financial support to continue her passion. Jerusalem was also acclaimed by critics, who began comparing her to Homer and Shakespeare, so that she became a popular figure both in Sweden and abroad. By 1895, she gave up her teaching to devote herself to her writing. With the help of proceeds from Gösta Berling's Saga and a scholarship and grant, she made 2 journeys, which were largely instrumental in providing material for her next novel. With her close friend Sophie Elkin, she traveled to Italy, and she also traveled to Palestine and other parts of the East. In Italy, a legend of a Christ child figure that had been replaced with a false version inspired Lagerlöf's novel Antichrist Miracler, The Miracles of the Antichrist. Set in Sicily, the novel explores the interplay between Christian and socialist moral systems. However, most of Lagerlöf's stories were set in Vermland. In 1902, Lagerlöf was asked by the National Teachers Association to write a geography book for children. She wrote Nils Holgersson's Underbara Resa genom Sverige, The Wonderful Adventures of Nils, a novel about a boy from the southernmost part of Sweden, who had been shrunk to the size of a thumb and who traveled on the back of a goose across the country. Lagerlöf mixed historical and geographical facts about the provinces of Sweden with the tale of the boy's adventures until he managed to return home and was restored to his normal size. The novel is one of Lagerlöf's most well-known books, and it has been translated into more than 30 languages. She moved in 1897 to Falun, and met Valborg Olander, who became her literary assistant and friend. But Elkin's jealousy of Olander was a complication in the relationship. Olander, a teacher, was also active in the growing women's suffrage movement in Sweden. Selma Lagerlöf herself was active as a speaker for the National Association for Women's Suffrage, which was beneficial for the organization because of the great respect which surrounded Lagerlöf. And she spoke at the International Suffrage Congress in Stockholm in June 1911, where she gave the opening address, as well as at the victory party of the Swedish suffrage movement after women's suffrage had been granted in May 1919. Selma Lagerlöf was a friend of the German Jewish writer Nelly Sachs. Shortly before her death in 1940, Lagerlöf intervened with the Swedish royal family to secure the release of Sachs and Sachs' aged mother from Nazi Germany, on the last flight from Germany to Sweden, and their lifelong asylum in Stockholm. In 1919, Lagerlöf sold all the movie rights to all of her as yet unpublished works to Swedish Cinema Theatre. So over the years, many movie versions of her works were made. During the era of Swedish silent cinema, her works were used in film by Victor Sjöström, Moritz Stiller, and other Swedish filmmakers. Sjöström's retelling of Lagerlöf's tales about rural Swedish life, in which his camera recorded the detail of traditional village life and the Swedish landscape, provided the basis of some of the most poetic and memorable products of silent cinema. Jerusalem was adapted in 1996 into the internationally acclaimed film Jerusalem. Awards and commemoration. On December 10, 1909, Selma Lagerlöf won the Nobel Prize in appreciation of the lofty idealism, vivid imagination, and spiritual perception that characterize her writings. But the decision was preceded by harsh internal power struggle within the Swedish Academy, the body that awards the Nobel Prize in Literature. During her acceptance speech, she remained humble and told a fantastic story of her father, as she visited him in heaven. In the story, she asks her father for help with the debt she owes, and her father explains the debt is from all the people who supported her throughout her career. In 1904, the Academy had awarded her its Great Gold Medal, and in 1914, she also became a member of the Academy. For both the Academy membership and her Nobel Literature Prize, she was the first woman to be so honored. She was awarded the Litteris et Artibus in 1909 and the Illis Quorum in 1926. In 1991, she became the first woman to be depicted on a Swedish banknote, when the first 20 kroner note was released. In 1907, she received the degree of Doctor of Letters from Uppsala University. In 1928, she received an honorary doctorate from the University of Greifswald's Faculty of Arts. At the start of World War II, she sent her Nobel Prize medal and gold medal from the Swedish Academy to the government of Finland to help raise money to fight the Soviet Union. The Finnish government was so touched that it raised the necessary money by other means and returned her medal to her. 2 hotels are named after her in Östra Amterviken, and her home, Marbacka, is preserved as a museum. Thanks for watching HerStory channel. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe our channel.